Hello, welcome back to No Balls Cricket Unfiltered. This is episode 2 of our newly relaunched video version of the podcast. This is Aditya Devrat, your so-called respected journalist. We have Siddhant Pradhan, who's our former club cricketer now that he lives in Manchester and can't play cricket.
No, I mean that's
Um,
only till the summer when I start playing cricket again. And unlike you,
okay.
who's going to be respected former journalist, sorry, disrespected former journalist from now on.
And so after our first episode, I did get a lot of people saying, "Hey, where's the third guy?" So now our Purana third guy is not there, but since he was a junior pro, played for some different country in Singapore and whatnot, we have a replacement. This is Niket Lalla, who's played for under 19 Tamil Nadu and apparently also has played for some level of Malaysia and has also played state and club cricket in India, I think.
Yep. You got a
So
few of them right, but the region is fine.
Okay. So basically, we have an improved version of Siddharth Solanki. This guy has played more cricket than Guddu ever had.
He's played more cricket than all
Unfortunately,
of us put together anyway.
exactly.
Huh.
Unfortunately, though he has a Tamil Nadu background, he has not played with Dinesh Karthik, so we can't get DK on the pod for SP to abuse to his face.
And you know what? What's more disappointing is DK's actually just won a trophy. Like, oh my God, the world is ending. Look, as long as he doesn't get an India call up, no, I think we're fine.
For the T20 side, yeah, T20 World Cup is this year.
No. 1 minute. Hang on. Stop. Don't go any further. Please don't go any further with this. I'm already imagining
There is
him.
there is no one else. See, there is no one else apart from him who's even close to being in the wicketkeeper second slot.
Yeah, he made the
There's no
wicket
one.
second slot his thing. He's second slot or nothing. He can't be first slot.
Always.
Always. Anyway, we're going to move on to what we actually came to discuss. We're doing a preview for the India-England series that's upcoming. But before that, I just want a word from both of you guys on the Ranji Trophy not taking place for the first time since its inception in 1932. That's big news, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I think for us as purists and as traditionalists, it's like I think our natural reaction is to think that it's a big blow and why are we prioritizing one thing over the other or whatnot. I think logistically it is a lot easier for an 8-team IPL to happen within a bubble than a 34-team Ranji Trophy where also each match would be a 4-day match. So I understand kind of why that's the case, and also I mean you do have to accept the fact that when it comes to drawing eyeballs on TV and money from sponsors, you're getting more from the IPL than you are from the Ranji Trophy. So this idea that why are we prioritizing IPL over that is like I understand the argument, but also I feel like there's a logical reason this time around that we have to do it. And honestly, let's face it, when it comes to the grand scheme of things, I think for the BCCI, the IPL has been more important than the Ranji Trophy ever since they created it. So it's not a new development. It's just that coronavirus has had its impact here.
Yeah, Niket, what do you think?
I definitely think that it's a lot to do with the virus for sure because I think IPL is something standalone. They're enjoying their fame of the limelight they're getting from across the world. Sub log everyone is out there saying that are PSL or IPL, and there are things which are actually going out there, but there's no comparison. IPL today stands command, and they've established. So there's no one coming in that league. So now I think the Ranji was more towards. I think cutting short the whole COVID scenario, that's definitely one. But if we actually have to put the COVID scenario away and look at it on a cricketing standpoint, it definitely gives rise to, of course, talents, other who have been channelized towards a little bit more faster paced and not just do the whole 4 day affair. Because today it's important. T20 has suddenly, or at least over the years, been has looked into be more important or equally important to the rest. So today, if not earlier, while we were growing up, it was always ODI test, and they used to always compete on top. T20 was always second fiddle, but now today T20 is out there. So to keep the whole players up to date and to try probably seeing how you can actually get these guys faster. Probably that could be a side cricketing around thing around it, but I still think it's COVID.
No, I mean, I think, with the scenario the way it is, I think it's, and logistically, since they expanded it to 34 teams, it'll become a logistical nightmare to try and have one or maybe two or three. I would say, even if they did it zone wise, that's 5 zones. It's just too much of a logistical nightmare. I think it would just, I mean, it's understandable that people are upset about it and people are saying that the BCCI don't care. But if you look at it from a sort of logistical standpoint, it makes complete sense because it just seems impossible. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, moving on from that to what we're really meant to be talking about. The IPL has come into a lot of discussions on this because England have rested Johnny Bairstow from the first 2 Test matches of the series, and I don't know if you guys watched the Sri Lanka series against England, but Niroshan Dickwella had a lot to say about it on the stump mic.
I think by the way, these wicket keepers, this new age, actually wicket keepers have, I guess, constantly been the best because they have to lead the sledging. But the Dickwella, Pant, these guys are just hilarious characters. I love how direct and under the skin they can get.
Oh, Dickwella was brilliant. He even asked Joe Root if he could lend him a bat, and we just no. Moving. I mean, see, look, if we talk about wicket keepers, we'll get stuck on Rishabh Pant. So let's move away from that.
But by the way, while we're talking about sledging, just for a second, I do also have to mention that Dinesh Chandimal just had his own Tino Best mind the windows moment because Joe Root was like, "Come on, Chandi, to throw your wicket away," and the very next ball he goes for a slog sweep and gets out.
And quite literally throws his wicket away. Anyway, so India versus England, it's a big series for both teams, actually. The World Test Championship points are at stake. Now, these are the 2 scenarios that we could think of. England winning 3-0 is not happening. That's what they need to get to the final. I'm going to go out there and put it on record that I don't believe that England are beating India 3-0.
Not in India, no.
Yeah, definitely not in India.
Yeah.
And yeah, India need, I think, a drawn series and they're more or less through. So
yeah, I think is it a drawn series or is it a 2-1 and they guarantee?
No, I mean, I think a drawn series is guaranteed provided that Australia, because New Zealand aren't playing any more cricket. So provided Australia don't beat South Africa 3-0, then they only need a drawn series.
And Australia aren't beating South Africa 3-0.
I don't think that's going to happen. No.
Not in South Africa, no.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the squads. Sorry, Niket, you're saying.
Go on, what I think is actually I think that more than the Test Championship, these guys are really, I think, coming straight up from Sri Lanka. These guys, trying and of course India living up to its limelight. Suddenly there's this entire limelight. India went, thrashed it, and came back, and now they're going to be and let's not take into account that or actually consider that England have actually been trying to prove a point over the last 5 years now. For 5 years, they've actually gone out there being like, "Okay, yaar, we are doing something," and they, I think, coming in with this is that I think it's a little bit more fairly. 3-0 is definitely not on the cards for sure. Even if you have a good enough fight, I think we're seeing a head-on competition. India advantage.
Oh yeah, India advantage definitely. So we'll just have a look at the squads for the first 2 tests. Of course, because of the whole COVID situation and the fact that both teams were in a bio bubble, they've got expanded squads. England have decided to rest Johnny Bairstow, who's probably one of their best players of spin. He may not be in the best of form otherwise. They really only have I think the main talking point is whether they play Moeen Ali or not.
I think Moeen Ali is guaranteed a spot in the 11.
I don't think so.
I think if you have to pick between him and Dom Bess as your off spinner, the fact that Moeen Ali can bat, and actually, I mean, I think the last series that he came to India, though he has that obvious weakness against the short ball, he still scored, I think 2 centuries it was, and a half century or something like that. 2 centuries, 2 half centuries in India. So he can bat down the order, and I think that is something, especially if you want to guard against the potential of a collapse, which England might have to worry about, given that they don't bat well in India against spin. having that lower order, sort of that reliable batsman down the order is going to be a useful strategy.
But is he really reliable?
He's reliable in India. He's reliable. He bats well against spin. I literally just how much. Do I have to repeat the fact that he made 2 centuries against India the last time?
In about 8 innings. So in about 8 innings, he will somehow come and give you 2 innings and he'll prolong the tail. 2 or 3 innings somehow he might, if given, of course, 8 chances. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a big question.
4 test matches with 2 centuries is what more reliability do you want? 4 test matches with
half
6 centuries.
Sorry, half century. Yeah, that's good enough at least for them.
Yeah,
someone out there.
Okay, so we look at England's squad first. The top 6 pretty much picks itself, I would think.
Does it? Do we know what the top 6 is for England anymore?
Yeah,
with all their resting and rotation and whatnot?
Bairstow's out of the first 2 tests. So that means Burns, Sibley and Crawley are going to be the top 3.
Crawley are your top 3, yeah.
Root will bat at 4, Ben Stokes 5. And then you either pick between, I would think
I think they're hoping that Ollie Pope is going to be back fit.
Yeah, the choice then is between Ollie Pope and Moeen Ali.
Yeah.
And then Butler's your keeper for the first test.
And the other thing is for the second test, it's going to be Foakes as keeper because Bairstow's are in the squad and Butler's going home.
Exactly.
So, you automatically, if you're doing a straight swap for Butler and Foakes, then I guess maybe they want to have Pope in for the first test as well, so that he's not just coming in cold for the second test. Yeah. No, he is still. I think he's still also working his way back from that shoulder injury. So and he says he's not comfortable fielding. Or a week ago he said he wasn't completely comfortable in the field. He's perfectly fine batting, but if he has to throw any long balls from deep or something, he might not be comfortable with that. So basically, play him so that even Cheteshwar Pujara can get easy 3 runs against him. hitting to him every single time.
This is
I think building up to the series, I think the biggest at least side shift that took place was with Ashwin. So if Ashwin, when he went out to actually say the whole half mustache thing, I mean Kohli at that given point would have bajad him, saying we already are struggling, we were going in a little prepared, khud ke baja liye. If this guy Pujara goes on to give any one of these off spinners a try, and he goes down, it's next level here.
Okay, well, so for context, anyone who hasn't seen this, Ashwin came out during one of his video series and said that he has dared Pujara, and Pujara has agreed to this, that if Pujara hits over the top against spin, Ashwin will shave off half his mustache. Half. So he will walk around with half for the game. And Pujara has now in an interview against for Cricinfo has said that you never know what happens. So Pujara very famously never plays in the air against spin unless it's like 9 down and then he will take his chances. But otherwise he keeps the ball on the ground. But now if the prize is that Ashwin has to shave off half a mustache, I think Pujara might be tempted.
Why not?
England spinners are never going to tempt him, but Ashwin might have just done the trick for them.
But strange, Adi, the couple of spinners, the guys who bowled in Sri Lanka, both spinners were actually, they've only sat down and actually looped it around. If you actually go down to see, they are actually coming in one of those the old school spinners. So there's the offie and of course the leggy as well, the left arm.
Yeah, I mean,
Bess and Leach, they'll tempt. But here's the difference. The difference is India has a better batting strategy than let's slog them whenever we see them.
No. 1 minute. No. What is where?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let me clarify. India, other than Rohit Sharma, has a better strategy against spinners than let's slog them when we see them.
No, but the Sri Lanka strategy wasn't let's slog them. It was let's try and slog them for one whole inning per test, and bat sensibly for the other one. Slog and reverse sweep and whatever the I don't know whatever the fuck they managed to do in that first test and in the second innings of the second test.
And
Anyway,
each test they've had one really good batting innings and one really bad batting innings. It's
yeah, and like,
remarkable that the way they batted in those bad ones.
this is also part of the reason that I do not rate Leach or Bess, no matter how traditional and how much flight they'll be able to give the ball, to bother the Indian batting at all. I think Rohit Sharma though will go mad because he'll just see, कि भाई ये तो उड़ने वाला है. So the other topic of discussion that we had with the English side is who is going to play as their quicks. Are they going to?
Stokes is the third quick pretty much by default.
Stokes is the
who are the first two?
Yeah. But no. Then the question is: do you play both Broad and Anderson, or do you play Anderson and Archer, or do you play Broad and Archer?
I think Archer's the given because he doesn't rely on swing, or he has the pace. If the pitch is a little dead, he could still extract something from it. The only issue with Archer is that Joe Root seems to want to make sure that Archer only has like a 5-year career instead of a 15-year career. He feels like he has to bowl Archer for 50 overs in innings. So he might need to be rotated just for self-preservation. But the big thing is that Mark Wood's not in the squad for the first two tests. I think that would have been easy rotation for them, but that option just isn't there now. But I would say it's Archer, and then you pick one of Anderson and Broad alongside.
Niket?
Archer is definitely one of those. At least you need him for his aggression. You need him out there to keep things. Otherwise, there's no one who's actually going to give that back. At least out of the rest. So Archer is definitely out there. But I think it'll be a very tough call between Broad and Anderson, because Anderson proven the guys has delivered every single time, or at least if not, he will trouble and keep you at check. But then Broad comes down, he gives that extra batting again. So Broad brings that to the table. So I will somehow I see Broad being tipped in, or they'll just definitely keep swapping. I think the whole series is going to go down the whole, of course, including, I'm not sure if they're part of the ODIs and the of the T20s, but if Broad and Anderson are out, I think these are the two quicks who will dominate the entire series. So they'll play them wisely.
Yeah, I would tend to think that they have to rotate between them. And this is also coming on the back of Anderson picking up 6 in the test match against Sri Lanka in the innings that they didn't shit the bed on.
But even in Sri Lanka, they did the same, right? They rotated. Both didn't play together.
Yeah, they didn't play together. No, Broad played the first test and Anderson played the second one.
Yeah. And I think Wood played both there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Wood played both. Yeah, correct.
I think Jones also in the squad and might be an option for India.
Yeah, he is,
but
he's definitely going to be lower down the pecking order compared to the other three.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, predicted English.
I think things get interesting when Sam Curran comes back.
Sam Curran is SP's favorite English cricketer.
Sam Curran is also popularly known as the Machhar on this show. Just because he's so annoying and he won't go away. So let's not talk about Sam Curran. We can get back to Dinesh Karthik later. That's a separate feud. No, so let's just run through a quick predicted England 11 and then we move on to the Indians.
Just for the first two tests, right?
Just for the first. Yeah, I would say for the first test. Let's not even go to the second test.
Okay, so we have probably Burns and Sibley as your opener and Crawley as 3. Some order of top 3 between those 3, and then Root at 4. Stokes at 5. I guess Butler probably at 6, or maybe Pope at 6 for the first test.
Or do you go with Dan Lawrence, who actually made a 50 on debut in Sri Lanka?
Well, I'm predicting that Moeen Ali is playing. So therefore, I guess that you have Butler at 6, Ali at 7, and then you have your effectively everyone else is your bowling attack. So if it's Archer, Anderson, Broad, Leach, or if it's one extra spinner and one fewer quick, that would be my combination, I think, for England.
So your bowlers are who?
I think for the first test, I would probably go with with the option I just said. You play all 3, Anderson, Broad, and Archer, and have one more spinner. I guess you don't need Bess if you have Ali, so you play Jack Leach there.
Jack Leach, yeah, fair enough. Niket?
I think these 11 only the only biggest question is going to be the spinners. How England go on to use between Moeen and of course the other two, the young boys who have again, it all comes down to how many Indian left-handers are out there. I think we only have Pant, so so they might just take a chance. Ki, "Okay, let's go with the other spinner," and they have to take a call between the spinners. The rest, the fast bowling seems pretty. The unit seems pretty set. Interesting to see the first three. If any of the first three English top order, if they manage to do well, then I think the whole series comes down to how they pick up, because the middle order is set with Root, with Bastow coming back, and then you're going to have Butler going to give, and Moeen. I mean, these guys will definitely, and Stokes, of course. So this contribution is clear cut going to happen. Top three perform, England are out there and probably rolling. It's going to be a game of top three for them.
Just a casual reminder to everybody on this show that the last time England were in India, there was a debutant opener who played in the Bombay Test match. His name was Keaton Jennings. He also got 100 on debut. Just casual reminder as to everyone knows what happened to Keaton Jennings. Jasprit Bumrah got after him, and that was pretty much the end of his Test career. But
he got rechristened as Beaton Jennings.
Beaton Jennings, huh? So if Burns and Sibley are anything to go by, then we may see a repeat of that. Okay. So both of y'all are saying that England are not going to play three spinners. They're going to play two spinners, and then you'll have the three quicks in Archer, Anderson, and Ambrose all playing together.
Yeah. I don't think we'll go too spin heavy with our pitches also, because we've got some great fast bowlers. So I don't think the days of like preparing rank turners and having 3 or 4 spinners in the side might be over. Though, I mean, I know we did do it in 2016.
This is also true. Okay.
So, but surprisingly, there's talking about the pitches. It's really interesting that this time around for the Chepauk Stadium, they've actually gone on to get a curator who has never ever curated a test pitch.
Yeah, I was reading about that. That's quite an interesting fact, actually.
He's an ex-businessman who's running an apparel unit down here, and he just did a course. He picked up some plots around here where he's been.
Achha, you're working with him.
He got some stuff going. Yeah.
Oh shit!
That's fantastic. Okay, never mind. Listen, please make sure we prepare rank turners. Bas.
Yeah, bas. अब तू तो काट में डाल सकता है.
His statement is actually gone on to be, "I'm going to make the classy Indian terms, but they're going to look English."
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm thinking basically it's going to be bone dry underneath, but he's going to like leave some.
He'll make it green on top.
Cut outfield ka grass, na? He'll mow that and put it on top of the pitch. Looks English, plays Indian. Oh my god!
It's like putting cilantro on top of a roast chicken as a sprinkle karke.
For all you Indians who don't know what cilantro is, kothmir.
Yes, sorry, my American has started coming out. Dhania.
Yeah.
Dhania.
For him, it's his Italy podi on his Italy for him.
This is officially the first time we've had somebody from the south of India on this show. Huh? Just so you know.
Yeah, I mean because before it was the two of us and Guddu. So.
Yeah, and you're Bihari. You don't count as North either. So.
I don't know what I count as. North, East, something.
You just count as Bihari. It's okay. Right. Moving on to the Indian team. So we know two things. One, Jadeja is not playing, and two, Shami is not playing. And Virat Kohli is back from paternity leave. So now the fun.
Is Umesh Yadav back from paternity leave also, or is he still injured?
Umesh Yadav is injured as well. Yeah.
He's still injured. So here's the question. I think the best thing is because Niket mentioned that we need more left-handers in this 11. We only have Rishabh Pant. We have a left-hander who was really good against the left-arm spin, who's been going through some health issues. But I think nothing could be better than for Saurav Ganguly's health than seeing a left-armer come down at him again. So let's recall him. Oh my
God, Jack Leach versus Saurav Ganguly. I'm getting Nicky Boye flashbacks right now, man. He will get destroyed.
Saurav Ganguly's heart will go from that of a 60-year-old man to that of a 30-year-old man. Seeing Jack Leach back. Though he might get too excited. So I don't know. It could go either way.
Right. Sehwag against off spinners and Ganguly against leg spinners. Which one do you pick again?
Ganguly against left arm.
Ganguly left. Ganguly
really?
left any day.
Yeah.
उसको at least Sehwag might ever even probably consider it, but he's like नहीं बस मेरे को दुश्मनी लेनी है, बस बजानी है. Left hand spinner coming over the wicket. He's like boss, it's against my ethics कि मैं उसको अगर नहीं पेला मेरे को नींद नहीं आएगा. So so that's and definitely that was the case with me. That definitely. So that's exactly what we went through. Like left hand spinner. I don't know why. No, nothing against them.
Yeah, but when you see a good spin bowler bowling it into you get the feels, man. As an Indian, you just get the feels. This guy's not going to bowl for very long. I'm just going to go after them. Grow up playing spin all your life. This is what happens. Right. Okay. So
India's top 5 is set.
Question.
By the way. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
We're not going serious again. Niket, if you want to make more jokes, it's fine. We don't need to get into serious.
No, but coming to the, I think the Moeen Ali challenge is what we're going to have with Hardik Pandya. I definitely feel is that the question is going to come down: play him, not play him, or think about the extra 3 quick and 3 quick two spinners option.
And I think the interesting thing to note about Hardik Pandya right now is if he's in the squad as a pure batsman. He's not in the squad as an all-rounder. He's not.
Oh, okay.
They're still not sure whether he can stand up to test bowling rigor. So he's not really being picked as a third or fourth bowling option. I guess maybe you could throw down 5 overs if we needed him to. But I don't think they're counting on him as an all-rounder at this point.
Okay, so it's pretty clear then. We know exactly what's going to happen. Is our top 5 is set, right? Yeah. Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane. That's our top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pant plays as the wicketkeeper. I think there's no doubt about that now. After Australia,
but can he keep on turning tracks against Ashwin?
Let's not, please. Can we spent 15 minutes on the last episode discussing this, and we came to the exact same conclusion that Saha shouldn't play. What do you think, Niket?
Saha is turning for he's contender DK part 2. I definitely feel he's out there. He's on the
journey. That's very unfair. Saha's been one of the best keepers we've produced in a long time.
He has. But
pure keeper.
And if Pant doesn't work, the guys will find a new keeper. They're not going to tell Saha you play. They want someone aggression down there. We don't have anyone down there who is in the whole squad who can go try to go for the target. So I think Pant and it has to be Pant for sure. The bottom is where we Pant is for sure there. So it's just the bottom 5 we need to take a call on. Yeah.
Okay.
Bumrah's probably back.
Bumrah's back for sure.
Ashwin's probably
playing.
Back.
Okay, so the other slots are the ones that are slightly contentious. Ishant Sharma's back as well, so he will play.
So basically, we're down to 2 players.
We're down to whether Washington Sundar plays as an all-rounder. Okay, or God forbid, Akshar Patel. Oh my God.
I would
a left-arm spinner.
The guys have struggled. The boys just did, or at least whatever they could. and again, all right-handers. So you'll need someone to take the ball away.
Yeah, true.
Listen, if Kevin Peterson couldn't figure Yuvraj Singh out, then I don't think these English batsmen can figure Akshar Patel out. So
one minute. First of all, none of these batsmen have called Akshar Patel a pie chucker, although that's pretty much what he is. Second of all, that has to be one of the biggest blips on Kevin Peterson's entire record.
Yuvraj had him as his bunny. That was hilarious.
Yeah, he did have him as his bunny. Okay, so now let's do the contentious ones and then we'll pick an 11 from that.
So basically, we have a top 5. We have Pant at 6, so possibly 7. But if say we bring in someone like Vihari or someone like that at 6, extra batsmen if we do that. We have our bowling attack is guaranteed to. We have Bumrah, Ishant, and Ashwin. So it's down to picking either one more quick and Shardul Thakur or Siraj plays, or you pick one extra spinner and you've got Washington or Kuldeep Yadav possibly. I think Kuldeep Yadav probably plays a lot in this series.
Okay. So We discussed Akshar. We discussed the three quicks. A couple of questions for both of you. One, do you think Hardik Pandya will play as a 6, or do you think they'll go in with an all-rounder? Because if he's not bowling, then I don't know if is he worth it or not? I don't know.
Listen, I think if you have to pick a pure batsman, it would be unfair to pick Pandya over Vihari. You can say, hey, I want the counter-attacking, I want the aggression, whatnot, and that's a fair call from a strategy point of view. But I think as a pure batsman, Vihari's got a,
I don't think Vihari's in the squad.
Is he not? Is he not available? At all?
I don't think Vihari's in the squad.
Then that changes things. Of course, this is why I'm the disrespected journalist.
But who's the other choice we have for Hardik? Because Hardik for aggression, who's the other one?
So you had Akshar Patel and then Washington Sundar, obviously.
See, at least for the spinners, but for the quick side, definitely feel it's Boom and Ishant. So it only comes down to you. Ashwin has to leads the off spinning, and you take a call between Kuldeep and Akshar. So that's one decision that's going to be either adventurous with Kuldeep or keep the batting option with Akshar. And then comes down to only the last batsman. Either you bring in Hardik for who?
So the thing is, if you're playing 5 bowlers, right, then you can't.
Pant will be your 6.
Then you can't play Kuldeep because he can't bat. Then Pant is your 6, and you have to play Pant anyway, which he should. I mean, if Saha plays, it'll be ridiculous.
No.
Pant is
all jokes aside, Pant is playing. It's not Saha's not in the 11.
Yeah. So then you can't. So you can't play. The problem here is you can't play Kuldeep and Ashwin together.
Well, Ashwin's a decent enough batsman, and especially at home, he'll be fine as a batting order. It's just that he'll be batting at 7 probably.
I think you can if Shazul Thakur plays.
See, because otherwise the batting options backup batting options are just KL Rahul and Mayank, right?
Yeah.
So if we want to do the whole Mayank in the lower middle order thing again, that's an option. But I think that really was just because we had only 11 fit players to play at the Gabba, so we did that.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a long-term thinking.
But why? I one thing which is definitely troubling everyone is what's up with KL? Like he has commanded play in every position. Why not him bringing at 7? Okay, he opens up the whole complete lower order to play around with, and definitely give you a couple of. He will score for sure. So KL, why not over Hardik?
Again, if it comes down to picking one for the batting slot, I think it's definitely Rahul. But as a pure batsman, but also I don't think he's ever batted in that low in the order in first class cricket. So it would be a change of role for him, and I don't know. It would be a very different sort of adventurous selection to go for him over Hardik. But yeah, if it comes down to those two, I would probably pick Rahul over Pandya. They're both equally aggressive. Pandya maybe is a little more carefree, but the shots in terms of playing, the shot making, I think Rahul's can be just as aggressive.
The other thing is Pandya could give you 4-5 overs an inning. It may not be much,
but you don't. But I don't know. That's the thing. Pandya's bowling is a question mark. So you're picking on the chance that he gets fit enough to bowl also. But also then if you're picking on that. Yeah, but also then if you're picking on that chance, then you may as well change your entire bowling attack, right? Then you can easily pick, if you're playing Hardik and thinking he can bowl, then you can play Kuldeep because you have a batsman who can bowl.
You go 3 spinners straight up.
I do. You know what? With the pace attack we have, I don't think I'd go 3 spinners.
Yeah, they're not playing there.
No, I don't think there's a point, and especially if he's going to prepare an English style wicket, then definitely not.
English looking wicket or English style wicket? That is the wicket. We need inside info here.
Hang on.
What is the actual plan for that? What is the actual plan for the pitch?
So technically, the idea is first day keep the green on. Second, third day to make it batter friendly. They're saying it will go on big. So the guy has gone on to say it will get flat. And the last day is and the last day is definitely spin. He's like, I want to give the entire team a chance. Pure 11 log khelna chahiye.
But wait, you must have played a lot at Chepauk, so you'd probably know the wicket.
See, Chepak traditionally has been a Turner's apparel. Anyone out there, you will not be surprised if the spinner comes on even by the 10th over on, not on the day one. Of course, see, day one, first session with this guy, I'm expecting the spinners to come on late. It's all comes down to the toss again. It's going to actually get interesting if India get to bat straight up on if a little bit of a green wicket with Jofra and Broad running in, and we guys get adventurous somehow, 4 down, 3 down, and then we are seeing suddenly that's the only bit of chance I think England has. Other way around, then it's we're starting the entire journey.
So
I think my
curious
ideal
now.
scenario will be England batting first, getting to say 300 or something, and then us batting second and getting the 700. And then bowling them up.
Oh yeah, it's Chennai.
Possible.
How have we forgotten Karun Nair? I mean, what are we doing with our
Exactly.
lives?
I was just thinking about the last Chennai test against England and Karun Nair. And actually, you know what? Just for sympathy, I think KL Rahul deserves a spot in the 11 because last time he played there, he got out on 199. Let him have a chance to get to his double century.
And knowing the guy, he might. Second half, he's going to be the guy who's. And if he hangs around, I really think that's the difference between a 500 and 700 for India. Otherwise, they stop at 4-500. Rather, he waggles around with the end with Pant and takes the lower order. Then you're seeing the extra 200.
Now, we have another question to ask. Is England going to
Jayant Yadav.
No, I was going to say, I mean, they didn't manage to do it almost the entirety of the last over, but can England bowl us out? And then he goes and says Jayant Yadav and goes one better, man. No.
Jayant Yadav getting a century from 8 or 9 or whatever it was.
I believe you went and watched that day's play.
Yeah, I was there for that. I was there for every day of that match. My test that year. Saw Kohli's double century. Saw Jayant Yadav century. That was a fun experience.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch.
Where is he? But where is Jayant? I mean, is he in the squad?
No, he's not in the
He's
squad.
no, he's not in the squad. Jayant Yadav now is he's got one role in cricket. It's to be when Mumbai Indians have finished qualifying for the playoffs, but there's still 2-3 games left to play in the playoffs. You bring Jayant Yadav in so that he gets one match fitness, and then when you have to play in the final against a team with a bunch of left-handers and Suresh Raina is there, you bring Jayant Yadav back. That is his role.
So we figured it out, if you look at the IPL, if you want to know who's playing Test cricket for India, then whoever's bowling for RCB, they're going to be playing Test cricket for India.
Because they bowl test lengths in the T20.
In T20s. Jayant Yadav
What do you expect with a ground like that, yeah?
That's also fairly good point. But hang on 1 minute. They played this entire IPL and they were just as shit.
True.
They played in Dubai. It has nothing to do with the ground.
Yeah, the ground doesn't matter anymore. They were just as shit.
That's true. That's. But I think now again the interesting spin again this week I think was when these guys went on to say that the players, at least BCCI went on to say that the players are going to be vaccinated and we're not thinking about UAE or any other option anymore.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's quite a good.
They're going to do that, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, coming back to our main focus, which
we've this is weird because SP and I spent about half an hour one day this week trying to figure out what England's 11 would be, and yet when it's come down to the podcast, we've taken a lot more time trying to figure out what India's 11 is.
This is true.
Spoiled by choice.
So
Not choice, dear.
okay.
Okay, hang on. So top 5 is set. Pant is playing at either 6 or 7. Let's assume 7 because that's where he was in Australia. So
he batted at 6 in Australia, and he played
6.
the 2 innings.
Sorry.
The 2 innings.
Sorry,
that
you're right. Because he got promoted. In fact,
yeah.
But in the sense, what I meant to say is rather that we had 6 frontline batsmen and Pant, then we had Pant. That's what I meant to say. And then, so anyway, that's our. So we have a top 5 and we have Pant. We need to pick 5 other players.
Correct.
Of those 5, we're pretty much sure that
3
Bumrah,
are guaranteed.
Ishant and Bumrah, Ishant and Ashwin. So now for the other 2, we're essentially picking between Washington, Kuldeep, Hardik Pandya, KL Rahul, and somehow somewhere has come into this in this conversation, Akshar Patel.
Oh, and also the other spot you're picking between Shardul Thakur and Mohammad Siraj or Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah. So basically, the question is, if are we playing one more quick, like Siraj, like out and out quick, and then picking an extra batsman? So then you're pretty much guaranteed that you pick only Washington or maybe Akshar Patel, or are you picking Kuldeep and then you pick Shardul Thakur?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I would actually pick Kuldeep just because England as a team cannot play wrist spin. They are just garbage at it. They can't read it.
Left arm wrist spin.
I know,
So
1 minute. Leg spin is one thing. Left arm wrist spin तो chance ही नहीं है. There's
the one thing is obviously he doesn't have the surprise factor anymore the way he did against in that Australia series, because for some godforsaken reason, when in a rainy, cloudy morning on a green pitch in London at Lord's, we decided let's throw Kuldeep Yadav into this. So they've seen him now. Plus, of course, they've seen him in limited overs plenty. So there's no surprise factor with Kuldeep anymore. But obviously he's still a pretty good bowler.
That's the thing. And so England and wrist spin we know. So now
England left arm we know.
England
you're
left arm
combining
we
the
know.
two.
Yeah, so if you combine, that's why I'm saying we should play Kuldeep, because if we combine the two, they're screwed.
So I think Kuldeep plays, but if Kuldeep plays by default, you play Shardul then, because just for the. Or do we just not care? Do we just feel like 5 batsmen, Pant and Ashwin is enough again at home?
5 batsmen, Pant and Ashwin could actually be theoretically be enough at home.
Pant, Ashwin, and add Akshar to it. So you get your batting is all the way down played.
No, I'm saying don't play Akshar. I'm saying don't play Akshar.
Yes. Okay, so Akshar over Kuldeep. No, sorry, Kuldeep over Akshar. Yeah.
Kuldeep over Akshar, and then your 3 quicks are Siraj, Bumrah, and Ishant.
Yeah.
Siraj, Bumrah, Ishant. That's a 5-6-5. Okay.
Yeah, and you also play Kuldeep.
Yeah.
Oh. We're not going in. Yeah.
So Kuldeep is 8. So basically, Pant 6, Ashwin 7, Kuldeep 8.
Kuldeep 8, and then the bowler.
I mean, basically the bowling ka batting lineup doesn't matter. Bumrah will probably say, "Bhai, मैंने वो एक practice match में 50 बनाया, so let me bat at 8." Whatever.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jasprit Bumrah just shades Chris Martin slightly, when it comes to being number 11.
I think now, no. I think now our new Chris Martin candidate is Natarajan.
Oh.
But I don't think Nattu's ever going to play another test match.
But it was hilarious that post-match interview that Ashwin did of all 3 at the end of the second day at the Gabba, second or third day, whichever day it was, second day. And he's got Washi, he's got Natarajan, and he's got Shardul. And Ashwin is just fucking around. This entire interview is a joke to him, and obviously it was meant to be a joke. And he's speaking in Tamil to Natarajan, and he's saying, "Oh, you look like you played Stark really well." And Natarajan's response is, "What well? I couldn't see a single ball."
I'm not quite sure Bumrah's that category. He may be able to see the ball. Whether he can hit it or not, that's another story.
Natarajan somehow managed to block out an entire over a Stark without even seeing one ball. That is impressive skill.
That's very impressive. Okay, so
we're going Kuldeep and Siraj or Kuldeep and Thakur? That's our question.
I would actually go Kuldeep and Thakur just for the insurance. I wouldn't go Siraj. It's harsh on him, but it was bound to happen.
If that happens, if it's Kuldeep and Thakur, then we're looking at a 9 batting lineup. Whoa.
No, but we're assuming Akshar isn't playing, so.
Yeah,
Akshar is not playing. Shardul can bat. And
and
we were talking about at home. Now again, you tell us if your businessman contact is going to give us a pitch good enough for Shardul Thakur to bat on, but
Shardul Thakur to bat on, I think that's really too far-fetched for us to push for right now. But
I mean, if he can do it again at the Gabba, can he do it at Chepauk?
He can. Oh yeah, for sure. That's for sure. I think again a 9 batting lineup with just Kuldeep and Bumrah to finish. That's a long tail we're going to have.
No, you're forgetting. Ishant is also there. So 8 batting lineup. Our bottom three will be Kuldeep, Ishant, and Bumrah.
Kuldeep, Ishant, Bumrah, and then okay.
Yeah, 7-8 will be some combination of Shardul and Ashwin.
Yeah, I think if that works out, yeah, that's a three. Yeah, that's a we should be able to at least look to not with 5 bowlers. But the 6th bowling option.
We don't have one.
6 bowling options.
One minute.
We
We
have
have
6 bowlers.
Rohit
Rohit Sharma can come in. Rohit Sharma can come in sometime.
Rohit Sharma will injure himself, yaar. Why are we going down this route? Or we have Virat Kohli bowling whatever the hell that is.
Virat Kohli needs to get. Hang on. This is what we said in the last pod. We said we made a very key, not even prediction. We said this is something that must happen. Virat Kohli's only ever Test wicket has to be Ben Stokes.
It just has to be. It's written in the stars. He will bowl one garbage long hop outside off stumps and Stokes will nick it to Rishabh Pant will take the catch also. And if it's the only one he ever holds, it'll be the most brilliant thing on earth.
Can you imagine? I'm not saying it'll have to be Pant. It could be anyone in the side. But can you imagine if Kohli bowls a wicket-taking ball and the catch gets dropped?
Listen, do you know how the stump mic will have to bleep out the
Test
swear
cricket
words?
career might end that moment.
No, that
Like imagine if it's one of those. Imagine if one of those clangers that when Rahane dropped Labuschagne, it's like here, lobbing up to him practically, and he drops it. If Kohli gets a ball like that and someone drops it, oh God.
Talking about Labuschagne, did you actually see what you were in the BBL? They called him the 3rd most loudest thing ever heard on planet Earth. The loudest appeal.
What are the first 2?
An aircraft and a bomb blast.
An aircraft, a bomb blast, and Manas Labuschagne appealing.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay. So anyway, we are coming down to our 11 being our top 5 is set as Rohit, Gill, Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane. Pant at 6, Ashwin or Shardul at 7, 8, and
the other 2 amongst them, whoever's left is at 8.
Then we've got Kuldeep and Ishant and Bumrah.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Niket wanted Akshar Patel to debut. I don't think he's a good enough bowler. That's why I don't want him in there.
And do you think Washington Sundar's maybe a little too similar to Ashwin as a bowler? And it's similar in the sense that he's both off spin, but obviously he's not as good an off spinner. He doesn't have all the tricks and the, he's a 21-year-old when we're comparing him to a 34-year-old who's like a Test match legend. So it's not even fair. But probably he doesn't get in, despite his performance in Brisbane.
I definitely think that Washi is again they're probably keeping the entire series in mind. The only second alternative to Arati's off spinning is him, and being similar second fiddle for now until things probably shake up. So Ashwin is in his role, probably the experience is the pick. Again, comes down. For me, I think again it's coming to say it's Akshar or Kuldeep. It's just going to come down to that. It's not going to be as easy as a call for these guys to take between Akshar and Kuldeep, because Kuldeep again with the recent times with I think everyone out there, I think the entire lower middle half has played Kuldeep pretty well for the last few years. These guys have across the IPL as well. They've spent quite a decent amount of time against Kuldeep. So only the top 3. If the top 3 struggle, that's the only surprise element for Kuldeep. Otherwise, the rest is again Kuldeep is well read. So
fair enough.
between Akshar and Kuldeep, I think it's going to be a tough one.
Who would you pick?
Sorry, go ahead.
For me, I think would be I would want Kuldeep to just be there for the first because he's capable. Kuldeep is capable of giving us a fifer straight up. If not red, Sida run through them, create a fifer. Akshar is not capable of that. So Akshar will hang around, give you those couple of wickets, and ho gaya. So if going aggression, I think Kuldeep. My pick would definitely be Akshar, probably for the safer side now.
Interesting. Okay.
I think I would also pick Kuldeep. And I think there's one thing we do always talk about Kuldeep as like the mystery candidate, the surprise candidate. But he's also he's also a good bowler. Like it's not just like his value is not just that acha, if people haven't seen him, therefore he can take wickets. Obviously the IPL, I think the last two IPLs have probably knocked his confidence a bit. Um, I also think he's been slightly mismanaged by KKR to that in that extent, which with SP's favorite player as captain. But Kuldeep Yadav is a very good bowler, and I think he deserves a spot. If he gets a spot, it'll be on merit as of bowling quality rather than as a surprise X factor. I think he's done enough to justify that.
Yeah, fair. So okay,
I think again comes down to bowling in partnerships. So I again just to stop it up was. Kuldeep, I don't know, as in terms of bowling with partnership with someone, giving the other person the support to keep the pressure on is where the question is. With Kuldeep, it's always all or nothing. The guy is actually out there killing it, or he's not taking a wicket at all and just being there, just existing. So is he capable to keep the pressure in one end and let the others do the job then? And versus Akshar. So
that's the other thing. We haven't really seen him play a lot of Test cricket. He's only played, from my memory, in Dharamshala and in Sydney.
And Lords.
And Lords, where who can forget that? But yeah, so basically that's our 11. The batting till 5 picks itself. Rishabh Pant's the keeper, and then Niket saying Akshar plays over Kuldeep. I'm saying Kuldeep plays, so is Devrat. Yeah. And in that case, if you're saying Akshar is going to play, will you pick Siraj over Thakur, or would you still pick Shardul Thakur?
Both even Steven. Both Siraj, I would still feel that again comes down to Thakur will probably generate that bit of extra. I think Siraj is quicker if I'm not wrong with two Thakur, right? Yeah. So I think you will maybe keep Siraj just for the aggression. He's coming from a pretty high. Siraj over Thakur could be the pick. Yeah, just aggression to bring. And if you bring 3 quick, so Siraj with Bums and Ishant, I think it's a good trial to keep the pressure going.
Fair enough. And I would go the other way because if we're playing Kuldeep, then you need the extra batting. Then you play Thakur instead of.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Predictions. Now the fun bits. We already said 3-0 to England is not happening.
4-0 to India.
4-0 to India.
Yeah.
I think a 2-0 India.
2-0.
Actually, you're saying 2 draws.
You think
somehow I feel they will pull little bit somewhere, 4-4 going through England, going through 4 with this squad, with this kind of a momentum, they've done well. Last 4-5 years has been a year where England has not. So I think they will keep that. So 2-0 is what I'm looking at. Yeah, 2-0, or even if India go on 3-0. They will definitely say one match.
They'll say one match.
Or win one. There's always a possibility. And of course, you got to give India the opportunity to. I think one. I think there will be a point where India will see to bring a twist to the plot. India has to. They have to do something somewhere.
But we're going to lose 20 wickets to the combination of Leach and Moeen Ali. No, man. It's not happening.
Give it away. I think 2-0 or 3-0.
2-0 or 3-0. Devrat, you're going 4-0. I know that. I'm probably going to go. I would say 3-0. I wouldn't go 4-0. I think they'll probably save one game, especially if they win the toss and end up batting. Then it might just happen.
I'm assuming neither Chennai nor Ahmedabad gets like February and March rain, or do they?
Down here,
Chennai, I can't predict, but Ahmedabad definitely doesn't.
Yeah, Chennai no as well.
I think the only way I wouldn't say 4-0 is if that happened, is if there was some magic like unexpected rain. Cyclone. But since there's no unexpected rain, I'm sticking to 4-0.
Okay, before we move on to the last little segment that we have, Joe Root and Ben Stokes, how big of a factor are they going to be for England?
I'm very interested to see Root in this series because I think he is a really good player of spin. But I also think Ashwin has, Ashwin is one of the smartest people around, I think, in cricket. And he plans dismissals to individual batsmen really well. And I remember, for example, last time out, he just kept cover open for Joe Root. And I mean, Root had, I think, I can't remember if he scored a century or not, but he definitely scored a couple of half centuries. I think that was his phase where he just never converted. So he might have not actually gotten the three figures. But that tactic, I think we'll still see these things where Ashwin will have a tactic. Then does Root have a counter for that or not? And but I think that actually honestly is going to be the battle of the series for me. Stokes, you never know. So Stokes can get out to a stupid shot. He can get beaten by a really good ball. We've got the bowlers to beat him. He can also hit hit a century in a session if he wants to. So Stokes is more an X factor player.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Pretty much. Unless someone has anything else to say about Stokes and Root.
I think things get interesting when Bairstow comes back. I think the series will again the entire batting lineup opens up for them. They will play around. They will definitely bring with Bairstow win. I think this side is capable of at least a 300 or 400 or at least a 300 around over there. Yes, consistently.
Interesting.
Yeah, 300, 400, they're capable. They can bat to get that. I think whether they can bowl and get us out in India. I mean, to bring Chennai up again, I think that inning where Karun Nair scored his triple century and we got to 700, whatever it was. I think England's first inning score was like 400 plus or something like that.
They got 470 in that first innings in Chennai. They got 400.
Remember
this? They lost 3 tests on that tour. 2 of them were when they they batted first and got 400 in the first innings in Bombay.
And they lost both by an innings.
Yeah, they lost both by an innings.
So the batting is capable of getting a big score. It's just that I think to beat India at home, the definition of a big score has changed.
Yeah. So, the other thing is I think you need to be able to take 20 wickets in India. I think that's something that most teams don't manage to do.
Yeah, they don't have the bowling for that, I don't think. Here's my real question. So James Anderson, Virat Kohli. When it was in England last time around, Anderson didn't get him once. How embarrassing would it be for Kohli if Anderson gets him in India?
Vengeance.
It'd be pretty embarrassing, actually. All this talk and then Kohli nicks off trying to drive outside the off stump.
Exactly my point.
After paternity leave, man. He comes back and nicks off outside off stump. So go back home.
Jinx, we need Jinx back.
Jinx back. Okay. So that's the India versus England preview. Before we go, one last small segment. Australia have recently announced that they are now backing Travis Head over Matthew Wade as their test number 5. Both of them have been a bit disastrous for the last, say, year and a half, 2 years. And I was having this discussion with Devrat the other day where both of us were basically discussing this, and I'm just thinking to myself, they're both useless. Find a new one.
And here's the thing, I don't follow Sheffield Shield cricket as much as SP does. So when it comes to finding a new batsman, I have no idea who to pick. So I reached in the annals of the early 2010s or late 2000s and said, please just bring back Marcus North as the number 5.
Adam Burgess.
If you can't do that, Adam Burgess is a great option. There's always Mitchell Marsh. So they have plenty. I think historically they've had options for that spot. The issue is that they've all been shit, apart from Burgess, who had a decent career. But yeah.
I think all those years which Gilchrist served, God bless him for that.
Who was 5 during that age? It must have been. It was either Martin or Clark, right?
It was Clark.
Yeah.
Clark and Hussey actually were 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the batting depth. But here's the thing, unless you know someone who's tearing it up in Sheffield Shield, they may just be down to the fact that there is no better option out there apart from Head and Wade.
I mean, Usman Khwaja is always there.
But is he a lower order batsman? That's the question. Or then you have to.
He's a lot better at number 5 than either Wade or Head.
I've always liked Khwaja, and I think I am very confused as to what I feel like. A lot of other players have gotten much longer rope in Australia than Khwaja has, I know he's had his lean spells and whatever, but I feel like he should have been persisted with a lot more. So I'm never going to say no to Khwaja there.
What was with his age? Can you just if you check?
But
Oh yeah,
why
plus
Khwaja's
plus
age?
the recent.
See, they're all over 30. We know that.
Khwaja, I think he's late 30.
Khwaja's 34 now, so it would be a very weird recall. But also,
but-
Australia have done that.
Yeah.
Who was that opener who they selected for the first time? Why can I not remember his name?
Oh, Chris Rogers.
Chris Rogers. Yeah, and he was like mid 30s when he got his debut. Hussey was fairly old when he got his debut.
Adam Voges is the oldest debutant to ever make a double hundred. So I mean, he was 35 or 36 when he made his Test debut.
Yeah.
So they have a track record of bringing back slightly older players. But it's just.
Plus, can we get Khwaja just so that when they next play India, we can hear Pant singing Khwaja Mere Khwaja?
I think that is the visual that we all have to leave you with. Niket will provide us insider information from the groundsman because he seems to be his business partner. So,
yes.
So we are going to get like, and no ICC. We are not trying to fix matches. We are just just fans. But he will tell us what the pitch is going to be like. We will not reveal this to the public. We will keep it among
We will
us.
not place any of our own bets.
We will not place any of our own bets, even though Betfred is on my phone. And yes, Devrat's bad humor has brought this episode to an end. Thank you very much for.
You remember the joke you made the last time around? I don't think you can.
No, I've
complain.
forgotten. I must have seen that about 8 times. I've still forgotten.
Yeah, when you said Shikhar Dhawan should bat so that Gabbar can bat at the Gabba.
Still. Okay. Fine.
I would-
See your point. Yeah.
Okay. So bad humor I think is a feature of no ball street.
Back to Khwaja Mere Khwaja. Yes.
Yeah. I will die on this hill that Khwaja Mere Khwaja was a better joke than Gabbar batting at the Gabba. But we'll let you guys decide now that we can call this episode to a close. We'll throw it out as a Twitter poll maybe.
We will throw it out as a Twitter poll. That's a good idea. I poll on Instagram and Twitter poll.
There we
All
go.
our fans watching, please let us know.
Yes.
And yeah, Niket, thanks so much for being on. This was great. You're missing a third, and you're a better replacement. You're a good replacement. You're better than the original. That's how good you are.
Yes, exactly. So, Siddharth, you are missed, but not really that much.
No,
Dinesh
not
Karthik, we hope to have you on the pod at some point in time. One of you or Siddharth should be back so we can abuse someone.
All right, guys. That's all from us. Thanks for watching.